Hello everyone, today we'll talk about half hour in the analog clock, your classwork page 567, 568, 569, and we will do only the analog clock which it has a face with two hands. Now let's try to remember what the meaning of analog clock. Analog clock, it has a face with numbers, like on this case my number start from number 1 and finish with number 12. So this is my analog clock. And it has what also? It has hands. Two hands. One is short and one is long. If my short hand is on 4 and the long hand is on 12, or I can read the time. The small hand, it always say the numbers. It will say 4, 4. And the long hand, when it reach number 12, it say clock, clock. So my time is 4 o'clock. Now the long hand, it's walk on minutes. You see these small lines on the clock? We call them minutes. And I have 60 minutes on my clock. I have 60 minutes on my clock. How the long hand moves from 1 minute to another minute? If you count from 0 till 60, it will be 1 minute, and the long hand will move from this line to this line. It's need to count from 0 till 60 to move the small line. Okay, and the small hand, it walks on numbers and say the numbers. If it's on 4, it say 4, 4. If it's on 5, it say 5, 5. So the small hand always say this the number. If it's on 5, it will say 5, 5. And the big hand is on 12 exactly, you will say 5 o'clock. There is some actions you can do it in 1 minute, like jumping on a rope, brushing your teeth, singing a song, washing your hands, your face. This is take a 1 minute or less than 1 minute. Now, we know how to skip count by 5, so we will use that on our clock to move quickly. Of course, the long hand, it's moving minutes by minutes, but for me, I know how to count quickly. I will jump by 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and like this till you reach number 60. Now let's see the action we can do in 1 hour. If the small hand were on 1 o'clock and this long hand walk all this minutes to reach 12 again, the small hand will move from 1 till 2 and say 2 o'clock. What can you do from 1 till 2 o'clock? You can cook your food. You can watch 2 episodes of SpongeBob. You can play in the park. So these actions, it takes times to do it. Now, how I can tell the time? As we say, the small hand point to the number and say the number. So my number here is 3. I will say 3, 3. And the long hand point to 12. I will say 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Okay. Today in our lesson, we will learn a new timing. We call it half. What we call it? Half. And a word, past. What do you mean of past? You say something happened in the past. Like if you were sleepy, if you were sleeping and you woke up. So before you woke up, you were sleeping. Let's say you change your clothes. Before changing your clothes, you were wearing your pyjama. So what happened in the past? You wear your pajama first, then you change it. Okay? So it tells you action that happened before. Now let's see what the meaning of the word half. Okay, everyone, say hi for Mr. Monkey and his little baby. They will explain for us the meaning of the word half. If they want to share a piece of paper or a bar of chocolate, as we can see here, I'll try to cut this paper between them. Say hi for Cookie. Yes. What's happening, Cookie? I'm cutting the paper into two pieces. But look carefully. What can you see? That the two pieces are not the same. This one is big and this one is small. Do you think they will be happy to have two small pieces? They are not the same size? I don't think that. Okay. So what I should do? I'll bring another paper and I'll put the corner over the corner. Okay. And then I'll try to cut it. Now, after cutting this paper into two parts, I can see that both of the parts having the same size and the same shape. They are exactly the same. Now they will be happy because each one of them will having this part, and I call each part is a half. What do I call it? Half. So the word half means to have equal parts. As you see, this sandwich is the same size of sandwich of the second part. This circle, I cut it into two halves. This one exactly the same of this size. Okay, so this is the word half. Half. Now I'll see this half on our clock. There is a story about Mr. Monkey and Cookie. They want to have a race between them. Okay, they're having a race. You know, Mr. Monkey is longer than Cookie. So every time Mr. Monkey reach number 12, what he will say? Clock, clock. And of course, Mr. Monkey is faster than Cookie. So he will reach the clock before Cookie. Cookie is still between in the middle of the way. So if this is my race, Mr. Monkey, if he reach here, he will say clock, clock. But you can see Cookie still standing here. Now, between these two in the middle, Mr. Monkey couldn't keep going in the race, so he take a time at 6 and having a rest on number 6. If he's starting from number 1 and finish with number 12, he will take a rest on number 6. In the rest, he will drink some water. So he will say, ha, ha, ha. He's tired, so he say, ha, ha, ha. It's like half. He's happy. He's happy. He passed after number 1. He passed the 1. He go after 1. Okay? He wants to reach the 12 to say clock, clock. Now Cookie is still between number 1 and 2. Still in the middle. Taking a rest. Still in the middle. Let's see this on our clock. Let's say how the race happened between the long hand and the short hand. So this is the half where they will drink water. On our clock, I will cut the clock into two equals part. This is 12. And what is the half of the 12? It's 6. So if you will draw 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. To have equally, here 6 and how many you have here? 6. So 6 is in the middle of number 12. It's in the middle of number 12. So this is a half. If the long hand stop here, it will say what? Ha ha ha, half. And as you can see, the short hand is not on the 4, and it's not on the 5 also. It's between 4 and 5. It passed the 4. It's go after the 4. So I will read the time as half past 4. What I will say? Half past 4. Or that means I walked 30 minutes. 5, 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay? So it's 30 minutes after 4.